Hi everyone. So we have completed our second test that was on polity. So third test that's on economy. In today's class, we are going to discuss what should be the strategy, significance, and syllabus for economy tests. And what is the importance of Indian economy in whole UPSC syllabus? This table gives answer for that. Last year in 2020, out of the 100 questions, around 15 questions asked from Indian economy only. In 2019, the number is 14, 2018, 16, 2017, 14, 2016, 15, 2015, 21, 2040, 10, 2030, 18, 2012, 13 questions, and 2011 around 19 questions are asked from Indian economy part only. And this is exclusive economic topics. These questions were from exclusive economic topics. In these numbers, I didn't included those questions from agriculture, infrastructure, government schemes, etc. Traditionally, these topics are also considered as an economy topic. But without those subjects, around 50, 40, 60, 40, 50, 21, 10, 19, 80 questions are asking every year from economy. That means for the last decade, around 70 to 80 questions we can expect out of the total 100 questions exclusively from economy part. So that's what the importance of economy. 70 to 80 questions means if you know those 70, 80 questions correctly, you can easily fetch 36 marks. You can easily fetch 36 marks. That makes a huge, a drastic change in your total marks and your total future. So that's what the importance of economy. And what the main topics that you need to go through in this third test, that is especially giving more emphasis to national income, inflation, and money and banking. If you're talking about the syllabus, under national income, you need to know about GDP, that is gross domestic product, GNP, gross national product, NNP, net national product, NDP, net domestic product, GVA, gross value added, and factors of production, national income, that is what are these factors of production, land, labor, capital, etc. The national income at market price, factor cost, base price, etc. These are the topics that comes under the module national income. And then inflation. Inflation types, classifications, and effects on money supply. What is the effect of inflation on money supply? Demand and supply side factors, deflation, disinflation, reflation, etc. So these are the topics under inflation. Money and banking, and this is the most important module for your UPSC prelims examination, because for sure there should be 6, 7 or 8 questions from this money and banking topic only. That's what the importance of money and banking. 6 to 8 questions exclusively will be asked from this money and banking module. So you need to take special care on this money and banking subject. And what are the topics comes under this money and banking module? Money supply, how the money in our economy is supplied. Types of money. Functions, what are the functions that money doing? Banking, RBI, functions and its role and its regulatory capacity, etc. Monetary policy committee, NPA, non-performing assets, Basel norms, money multiplier, insurance and pension, etc. These are the topics which comes under money and banking. And the main important point regarding economy is, if you need to fetch more marks on economy, you should have conceptual clarity. And you should get to apply the concepts into the answers. That's what the mantra behind success in economy portion. And what should be your strategy? Like I said, first point, conceptual understanding and application. What is this conceptual understanding? If you understand, if you learn any subject, any topics in economy, you should be clear on that concept and you should be able to apply it. Just look this question. This question was asked in 2020 prelims. If you withdraw rupees 1 lakh in cash from your demat deposit account at your bank, the immediate effect on aggregate money supply in the economy will be. So, here the question is about money supply in our economy. Aggregate money supply. This is the keyword, money supply. So, if you know the concept money supply very well, you can apply it here and fetch marks. If you don't know the concept very well, you can score here. Yes, you can go for a wild guess, but that's not a good strategy. If you want to score here, you need to get the concept very well. So, but it is not so hard concept like money and supply. You can, if you give a minimum effort, you can understand how this money supply mechanism works. That's that much easy. Don't give so much pressure. You can do that. Because in our syllabus, no topics in economy is so tough. If you are giving a minimum effort consistently, you can understand all those concepts in economy. That much easy. Even though you do not have any economic background, don't worry about it. Because all those concepts, all those topics in economy that we are discussing is just 10th or plus 2 level. You can understand that. But just want to give a minimum effort. That's much. That's all. So, if you understand the concept, you can write the answer here. So, conceptual understanding and its application is very important. So, next, current affairs and contemporary affairs. What is the difference between current affairs and contemporary affairs? Current affairs, and this current affairs is very important for your UPSC exams. Current affairs includes all those current events, happenings, phenomena, all that happened in the last 1 year. For the last 1 year, all the major events, phenomena, etc. for the last 1 year is what? Current affairs. And those topics that related with our syllabus. So that means if you are writing prelims for 2021 June, all those topics or current events that comes from 2020 June to 2021 June under this time period. This is what current affairs is. And next, contemporary affairs. Contemporary affairs. All those topics, if you are writing prelims for 2021 June, then all those topics from 2020 June to 2080 or 2070 June. All major events, you can't cover all those current affairs, all what happened from 2070 June. But all that major events, major achievements, or major contributions, major happening, all that from 2070 June to 2020 June, this is what contemporary affairs. So, if we analyze the question paper for last 4 to 5 years, there is a growing importance for contemporary affairs than current affairs. If you take 100 questions, total 100 questions of UPSC prelims examination for the last couple of years. Out of that 100, 40 questions is purely conceptual type. 40 questions will be purely conceptual. Now the number is decreased. Before 5 to 6 years, around 60 to 70 questions were pure conceptual type. Now the number is decreasing to around 40. This is not exact number, it's an approx number. 40 question is purely conceptual type and 40 questions will be contemporary affairs. 30 to 40 questions will be contemporary and 10 to 20 questions is of current affairs. Current affairs. So this is the trend that we can see for the last couple of years. So we need to give more emphasis on contemporary affairs rather than current affairs. For that, tries to solve maximum number of questions than giving more time for monthly magazines. If you can solve more than 3000 or 4000 or 5000 questions, that would be good strategy rather than giving more time for monthly magazines or weekly magazines, current affairs magazines. Okay, and next, attend maximum number of questions. Regarding the strategy that we should adopt while attending the test or exam, in the second discussion video, Rindosa explained what should be your strategy. So just please see that. And like desert, we need to attend maximum number of questions. Otherwise, we have well confident strategy that I am very confident on my strategy that I just go through just only those questions. I am very confident. So if like that and you have confidence, go for it. No matter. But if you are confused, tries to attend maximum number of questions. So in your prelims examination, out of the 100 questions, around 40 to 50 questions will be unfamiliar for you. Unfamiliar. So, if you want to qualify, you need to attend this too. Otherwise, you can't cross the cutoff marks. So, if you go for guesswork, using your minimum knowledge or your sense, you can go for guesswork. Out of this 40, 10 gone right or 13 gone wrong, there is no loss for you. Okay. Rather than not attending this 14 question, just go for a guesswork at least. Even though 13 gone wrong, no loss. So go for it. Tries to attend maximum number of questions and try to complete the test within 130 to 140 minutes. Sorry, 130 hours to 140 hours. Not prelims examination, this test series. Because in your examination hall, in your main prelims examination hall, UPSC prelims examination hall, you will have added pressure and pressure, stress, etc. So those things is not so much on test series table. Okay. So there is no so much pressure or tension while you writing test series. So while doing test practices, just tries to complete it within 130 or 1.3 hours or 1.4 hours. That's very important. Otherwise, there will be a time problem. For the last 2 to 3 prelims examination, students are consistently talking about this time constraint. So, if you want to avoid that, just practice test series and complete it within 1 hour 30 minutes or 1 hour 40 minutes within this time limit. So just practice like that. And it's better to do multiple reading on the examination hall. Don't write those questions you did not have any experience or you didn't have any knowledge with the first reading that you do. Don't do that. Go for second reading or third reading. In the second class test discussion, Rindosa discussed about 3-2-1-0 strategy. Just apply it. If you have time, on the first reading, just attend only those questions that you have 100% sure. In the second reading, go for the 50-50. And third reading, read that questions and attend those questions which have a possibility of 10 to 25%. you need to attend those questions also. Okay, it's better to attend between 85 to 95. I prefer 85 to 95. It should be a good strategy. Only avoid those direct shoot questions or those questions you didn't have any possibility to get the answer. Okay, and that's very important, reading multiple times. And while you're doing this test series, revision is very important. Otherwise, you will not get the fruits of test series. If you taking test series after completing the test and submitting it, you should revise it at least for 1 or 2 times. At least for 1 or 2 times. Otherwise, you will not get the fruits of doing test practices. That's very important. So, this much, understand the concepts very well and take care of current affairs and contemporary affairs. Tries to attend maximum number of questions, and the case of test series is completed with 130 to 140 hours. Do multiple reading and revise. That is the main mantra behind success in UPSC. Do practice tests, understand the concepts, learn the concepts, learn the topics, and revise. Revise multiple times. That was the revision is the main point behind the success of your UPSC preparation. So that's all. Thank you.